It's a bit like looking after your car. The harp, the standard size is to have 47 strings. This is of the concert double action pedal mechanism harp. There are Baroque harps, folk harps, but this is a concert harp used for the work that we do. And the original invention of this system for this particular instrument was in 1810 in Paris. And it has 47 strings, but it also has 7 pedals. And each pedal corresponds to the 7 letter names of the scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So that's 7. To access all the chromatic scale, we have to use our feet to be able to change the pitch on the strings. Because as the harp is built, it's actually built in C flat major. So that's 7 notes in the octave. So to get all the other notes, we have to do stuff with our pedals. So basically, this is a C string, and I'll show you. So that's nothing to do with my hand, apart from the initial pluck. And then the rest is happening with my feet. This is the soundboard. This is where the resonance basically happens. This is hollow. This is the pillar. And all the mechanism for the pedals goes up there and then comes round inside there and turns little discs. And that's how the pedals actually change the pitch on the strings. Nothing happens down there underneath the strings. It all happens at the top. So with a harp, you buy it, and it should be, if you buy a new harp, it should be in inverted commas, perfect condition. But all harps, as soon as they're put together, are actually kind of falling to bits. The tension on the strings is pulling the soundboard up, and it's pulling the neck across. So that means that at least every 2 years, some people do it every year, you have to have it looked at, to have it serviced. It's a bit like your car. You have to send it in, because also to keep the instrument in tune, all these little bits of mechanism, they may slightly shift, and because of the board moving and the neck moving, the harp, especially with an orchestra, travels around the world in a case. They're not ideal conditions for the instrument just to be completely, sort of secure. So every 2 years, you would be sending it or having a technician visit you to look after the instrument, lubricate it. Sometimes we have to have the felts around the pedals changed, springs. Yes, it's a bit like looking after your car. Talking about the tuning, these days there are machines, so you can do it by machine. I use a machine, but I don't rely on it completely, because depending on different strings, sometimes there can be a small variable whereby the machine might say, oh, that's bang in tune, but you listen to it and you think, ooh, well, I'm not sure about that. So I wouldn't suggest that you only rely on a machine, because it's part of being a musician is to understand tuning and how it sounds, what it means, if something's not in tune, if it's sharp or it's flat. But certainly when it's very noisy, say when we're on tour and we don't have hardly any time with the instrument, because of course we don't travel with the harp, we only get to it when we get to wherever we're playing. The machine can be very useful for just a kind of emergency tuning session where it'll hopefully give you something that sounds okay. So regarding tuning, people probably have different ways. I mean, interestingly, if you play in different parts of the string, it can make it more clear, or it sometimes sounds as if it slightly changes the pitch. So as Debussy said, we spend half a life tuning and then half a life playing out of tune.